pace is really slow today, guys. Took me 20 minutes to get my order.
Hey, this is Joe, the channel Joe is Hungry, where we do food reviews every week. This week, we're gonna do Subway. We're gonna go to the local Subway here in Fairmount, Georgia. But first, I'd like to give a shout out to Joe Muller. Keep him coming out, dude. And thanks for making me hungry right before I do my video. Subway has come out with a series of 3 sandwiches on some new bread called Ciabatta Bread. A little background on Ciabatta Bread, that it was the Italians' response to the French baguette. If you don't know what a French baguette is, look back at my last video on Jimmy John's The Frenchie. That is a baguette. It's long, thin, crispy, chewy, and has a really good taste. I am not a super fan of Subway. Don't eat there a whole lot, but if I'm in town and I really don't have any food at home to eat and I'm working on the cars, a lot of times I'll run down to Subway because I know that their food handling techniques are very good. I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Apparently Subway has an app where you can actually order your food. One of the things I don't like about Subway is you have to wait in line and they do everything custom to everybody, which is good, but then it gets kind of old standing in the line waiting for somebody else to order their sandwich item by item by item. So ordering this online, is this gonna bump me ahead in line and get me in and out real quick? I don't know. We're gonna find out. It's already picked my location at 2579 Highway 411 Fairmount, Georgia, and we want to start the order. Let's see how well this works. We have the Italian pesto, the garlic steak and provolone ciabatta. That actually looks good. And then the featured Italian ciabatta with fresh mozzarella. I'm gonna go with that because I'm mostly Italian. Pick that, check customize because I want it toasted. Toasted light's already lit up, looks good. I'm gonna leave everything else default. I'm even gonna take a chance with the onions. I would say pepperoni. Let's get a drink. We got 1 Subway sandwich and then a Diet Coke. Let's put in our order and run down the street and pick it up. I'm in Subway in Fairmount, Georgia. All right, we're back from Subway, and now it's time to try out the new ciabatta. But before I start, I'd like to talk about it a little bit. I put in my order as you saw on my phone. I got there, I thought I would have to wait in line behind anybody else, but actually they were preparing my food, and I got to jump ahead of line and get my food before everybody else that was already standing in line. So, hey, Subway, you scored on that one. Excellent. I also noticed some changes since the last time I was there. The cups, I got Diet Coke, but I think the yellow tops are really cool. They seem to stick on better. So, another kudos to Subway. The whole thing set me back a total of $10.37. This is for a 6-inch sub. It's the Italian mozzarella sub. I added pepperoni to it for 50 cents because I can't imagine eating an Italian sub without some sandwich pepperoni on it. Doesn't make any sense to me. It has balsamic sauce, banana peppers, red onions, tomatoes, spinach, all toasted with some mozzarella, and a 20-ounce fountain drink. I thought that was a bit pricey, but that's all right. I wasn't trying to find a special. They have specials all the time that makes things cheaper. Subway remains, to me, a good place to go get some fresh, clean, prepared food, especially in small towns where you really don't have access to anything else. Let's examine the sandwich before we chow down. They toasted it. Whatever residual heat is gone. The sandwich itself looks pretty attractive. We have our layer of sandwich pepperoni for 50 cents, which is decent. So we fold it back. That's actually 2 layers. That's pretty good. Plenty of mozzarella cheese. We have the ingredients with obvious balsamic vinegar and the spinach, and plenty of banana peppers. This actually doesn't look bad. I've never tried this bread before, and I'm kind of curious to see how it is. For today's purposes, I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half for the second segment of this video, the morning after. It looks pretty good, has plenty of ingredients. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. They didn't skimp, everything is consistent and looks edible. Now, let's move on to the Joe bite test. Let's get this show on the road. Let's see how it tastes. I need to have a little Diet Coke before I can render a verdict on that one. I think it would be a lot better if it was still hot. I think their method of flash heating things up in a very hot oven for like 20 seconds is really not coming up to par. I think they really need to be baked for a few minutes and then assembled would be better, but that's the way they do it, and that's pretty much what we're stuck with. The bread is not hot, it's cool. The ingredients cooled the lukewarm sandwich clear down to room temperature. So, you know, I think if it had a better temperature, that it would be better. I think it would actually help if I drop this thing in the microwave for a second, which I'm really thinking about doing right now. All right, 20 seconds in a high-powered microwave. I almost burned my hands on it, and we're gonna give it another bite. It's hot, obviously, because I just heated it up. The banana peppers really help it out. I can barely taste the Genoa salami. The mozzarella cheese really works on it. Probably could do without the onions, kind of like overwhelms the Genoa salami, almost overwhelms the sandwich pepperoni. I guess the bread is the main subject here. It's not crisp, it's kind of chewy, thick, has a lot of air holes in it. But I kind of like it because it doesn't get overwhelmed by the sauce and the moisture in there like their standard bread seems to. After a while, it'll kind of get mushy as it sops up all the moisture in the sandwich after it's been reheated or just carried around for a little while. I do like the sandwich. It is redeemable. It is different. It is kind of not what I expected. If I order this again, I'll probably order extra Genoa salami, get rid of the onions to suit my palate. I like the spinach as opposed to lettuce. It gives a little bit more flavor. And like I said, back to criticism of the onions, it adds a little bit of heat. These are hot onions they put in there, and heat is not something I'm looking for in a sandwich. It's a good sandwich to eat at lunchtime. If you're off for work, you can order it before you leave work and it'll be there waiting on you. It's not so big it's overwhelming, but it has enough ingredients in it to keep you from getting hungry the rest of the day. Without the onions, I could really get used to this. For a sub sandwich on a 1 to 10, I would give it about a 6 or a 7. I mean, it's a good sandwich, don't get me wrong. The bread is good. The bread doesn't get all limp and wet and fall apart on you. The hot onions are a little overwhelming for me. In fact, it's getting worse. I'm gonna have to drink something before I can even talk. Call me a wuss, but I don't like hot stuff. As far as a value, I'd give it about a 5. I thought it was, for a drink and a 6-inch sub for over 10 bucks without chips, mind you. I think that's a little pricey. Subway definitely made a new product that is edible. It is a limited time. They're only going to carry it for a month. If you find this subject matter interesting, feel free to subscribe. Mike, when you look at this, you better hit the subscription button. I'm watching you, and I'll see you on the morning after. Boom. Welcome to the Morning After Show, where we reheat, rehash, reevaluate the food we left in the refrigerator overnight to see if it is indeed edible after it's been reheated in a microwave. Here is our Italian sandwich. We have not reheated it yet. Let's just take a look at it and see what's happened to it in the refrigerator overnight. That it's still intact. The bread held its form in spite of the oil and everything that was put on it the day before. Now, it's time to drop this guy in the microwave. I've reheated the ciabatta Italian sandwich. I'd call it an Italian sandwich because it's basically an Italian sub with a few modifications. The biggest criticism I had of this thing yesterday were the onions that I probably should not have put on there, that were a little too hot and kind of overwhelmed the rest of the sandwich. It's been in the refrigerator overnight. Actually, it's about 11:45 this morning. I slept a little late. the palate properly cleared, let's take another bite and I'll give you my take on this sandwich after it sat in a refrigerator overnight. The ciabatta bread fared pretty good. It soaked up some of the oil and whatnot that comes out of the sandwich. It's not soggy. It's retained most of its taste. It was never a crunchy, crisp bread to begin with. It was soft, doughy, and kind of tough. The sandwich still has its taste. I can still tell the onions are in there. They're not overwhelming the rest of the sandwich quite so badly as there was yesterday. The banana peppers definitely give the sandwich that tang that it needs. I still can't detect any Genoa salami in there, although I know it's in there. I can still taste the sandwich pepperoni. And I think this thing may need another touch of the microwave. The first 30 seconds really didn't quite do it. By God, we've got this thing hot now. This bread really holds its form and its consistency. It took a little bit extra juice to get the mozzarella cheese to melt correctly. If I wanted to modify it and perfect it, I would probably add provolone cheese, probably lettuce with the spinach, absolutely get rid of the onions, reduce or get rid of the vinaigrette. This kind of made a nice little juicy breakfast for me. Not too heavy, not too light, but it does the job. As far as the rating, I would probably have to leave it about the same as it was when it was fresh. I can't really tell a whole lot of difference, except maybe the tomatoes kind of took a little bit of a hit, wilted the vegetables in it a little bit. But eating it, taste, flavor, fillingness, it's about the same. As far as the value, not so much. That was pretty expensive for a 6-inch sub. It is definitely a reheatable item. It retains its flavor. The onion overwhelmingness has been dulled a little bit, but it's still there. My mouth is burning as I speak. And we will see you on the next video. Onions are literally burning in my mouth again. Never put onions on your. Who in their right mind thinks that a hot food, spicy food is good? It burns your. Also, a shout out to Em and Dexter. Get back in the game. Get back in the game. Get back in the game.